Well, first of all, the people that are listening, I would really just let the emergency service people take care of the roads. What I've understood already from some texts that I've gotten from people in the area is that a lot of roads are buckled, so it is very dangerous down there just traveling. But also, if you smell gas, if you can turn your gas off, make sure that you get the gas turned off. There might be busted water pipes, so try to turn your water off. Otherwise, let the authorities take care of that. This is obviously a very major situation, and Napa's been impacted severely because it's the most populated area close by.
Leo, when you say let the crews take care of the roads, if you can be more specific, what do you want people to do or not do in order for crews to get out there and do their jobs?
Well, I think just looky-loos, the people that are interested in what's going on, I think really just stay away. That's the point I'd like to make. There will be just a lot of people, a lot of contractors coming out. Make sure that you just let the emergency service crews, let the utility companies do their job at this moment. That's the most important. Just stay away from the buckled roads. Don't be a looky-loo. Let people do their job.
We do want to point out that we know of at least 30 water main leaks, but authorities reporting that the water is safe to drink, and they're dealing with capping those leaks as quickly as they can. Leo, if people are in their homes and let's just say they see a crack in the ceiling or in the wall that they don't remember seeing there before, what would you tell them in terms of trying to assess for themselves whether their home is safe if they're concerned about aftershocks?
Well, I would say if you have a concern, try to get to a friend's home or another family member that you feel safe in. A lot of times these homes are built very, very strong. But some are not retrofitted to the foundation. So if you see things that are really substantial, I don't see imminent collapse happening on some of the footage I see here going on. I do see some fires, and those are from gas lines. I'm sure that a snap near a pilot light that might maybe have started the fires. But when it comes to seeing stress cracks, or if you see them opening up and you see them creeping down the wall, you definitely have some serious earthquake damage. A lot of times brick fireplaces, those will be the first ones to collapse. They'll fall right down, so stay away from those chimneys that are made of old brick. Those are always quick to fall down in an earthquake like this. After the Northridge quake, just every chimney in that area seemed to have come down. So stay away from, look up and look down, look all around, make sure that you are safe and your family's safe. That's the most important.
We know of at least 50 gas line breaks. PG&E is the provider in that area. They're working to cap those as well. What would you tell people in terms of leaking gas?
Well, if you smell gas, just get away. Really, you have to understand that this is a major emergency, and there are emergency crews. This state is the best at preparing and mobilizing and responding to these types of disasters. I've worked all across the United States on all the Gulf states after disasters, and obviously we're really recognized for big earthquakes here, and here we have one. It's been over 25 years since we've had one. It's going to take time to let the nerves settle down. There'll be a lot of aftershocks. So if you smell gas, just find a way to get to a friend's location, find a way to get to a safe haven, and let the emergency crews know that you smell gas.
We know that the state has activated the command center for the Office of Emergency Services. That's out near Mather in the Sacramento area. Give us an idea, Leo, of what happens when the state gets involved at that level.
Well, I'm sure Cal EMA is going to get heavily involved, California Earthquake Authority. All these state entities have been preparing for this. They have been preparing and preparing and preparing. Here is their time to do the work that they've so diligently have prepared for, from the residential sector of California Earthquake Authority to the commercial. And a lot of people do not have insurance in this state for for earthquake, and it's a very expensive insurance. This is where I think a lot of people are going to think that their homeowners or their business insurance is going to take care of it. In some instances, it just won't. So you have to, if you are going to start assessing what's going on, talk to Small Business Administration if you have a business, talk to the information that's going to be sent out by the state is going to be immense. I'm a privately owned company, but we do respond to big disasters. We've been second-tier contractors for the state of Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina, and we've worked on numerous disasters here in California. So the state obviously really has a handle on a lot of this. So I would let the state, if you see those vehicles go by, let them roll, let them do their work. And again, the most important thing, if you do smell gas, let an authority personnel know.
So Leo, talk to us. You've dealt with a lot of major emergencies. We are now pretty much exactly 5 hours after this 6.0 earthquake hit. A group like yours, what is the first thing you do in these initial hours after a major disaster?
Well, there's numerous contractors like myself that are intertwined with big corporations and also with state and local entities, municipalities. We will be contacted by sometimes insurance companies that will say, listen, we have significant amount of damage and we're going to need your assistance in assessing this damage to get us the proper information to get these businesses back in business or get these homeowners back to some form of normality. So we are specialized with equipment and with personnel that are certified in a lot of this type of work, from shoring up structures to mopping up and cleaning up the damaged pipes, the ruptures, to dry down, to mitigate damages, to do inventory of all the product that is destroyed. So that is our job. We assess freezers to make sure that the cold meats inside freezers, have they been down so long that that is no longer sellable to the public. So then we assist business owners in making sure they have an accurate inventory so they can get their inventory replenished. So we're really specialized and nimble in doing a lot of things for a lot of people when it comes to recovering and getting business back in business, or homeowners understanding the complete extreme of their disaster. So we either make people feel comfortable with what's going on, or we make them realize, wow, this is a lot bigger situation than what we actually thought. This little crack is not just a little crack. It's a pretty substantial, situation to my home or business. So we just really open up their eyes. We assist them through government, municipalities, and insurance companies.
Wow, Leo, thank you so much for your expertise, and there's just so much more that I think people realize in the initial hours after an earthquake, down to whether freezers are even working. Yeah.
That's right.
All right, Leo, thank you.